Hello everyone, it's David. You welcome to I Develop Me, and I love the Bible, okay, and I love Jesus Christ because I realize that for me personally, it's the only way I'm going to get ahead in life, and there's no other way for me, okay. There's no other way because when you have got royal links like I do, they do everything to make sure that you never make money, you never be anything. There are agents everywhere because you see lineages are tracked, and don't ever think that no one's watching you, because if you're from a royal lineage, uh, you have got more like divine right to rule, and they know this. They know that you are the best vessel for God to use, and God is the virtues. Do you actually understand? God is the virtues. Virtues. When you have the virtues, you have wealth. You have luck. You have chance. Everything goes well for you. You'll have a spark, divine spark, a charm, something angelic that you might be able to sense from me, but you don't know exactly what it is exactly. So today I'm explaining to you how a family. Okay, my nose a bit because it's in England. It's cold. Okay, so uh, moving on is that uh, how your birthright is sold is through sex. There's a good reason why the guys like P Diddy, those guys are not necessarily gay, but they understand something you don't. It's that your birthright is in sex. Your virtues are your birthright. If you have those, you have wealth. You have riches. You don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to go and bend like a rope at the brothel if a woman to make it in life. You as a guy, you don't have to go around also and be like an escort, like some Dan Bilzerian to sell your birthright. Do you understand? When people do these kind of things, they unbeknownst, they are selling their birthright away. They don't see it, but that's what they are doing. Then the more they go and sleep around, the more they lose their covering, the virtues. If you learned about Adam and Eve, why they felt naked, it was the self-esteem, which is the virtues that are your spiritual clothes. Do you understand? You can't see them, but they're actually your spiritual clothes. But those guys who are doing those kinds of symbols and this and those kinds of things, okay? They do these kind of symbols and all those kind of things. They know these secrets, okay? Those third eye guys into ancient uh, religion of Egypt to make a human slave. They know this. So they know that if you trade your virtues, you are permanently poor. What is it to gain the whole world but lose your soul? This is what it is. You become an empty vessel, and you will live a life where you just feel that like you are chained. You have no escape. You are living in hell, and there's no way out. This is what happens when you lose your virtues. So what ends up happening is that this social hierarchy is set up in a devious way somehow or some way. So there are people who are going to make you sign things. They're going to promise you maybe $5 million or something, but in exchange you have to trade your virtues. But when you do so, and it happens through sex, do you understand? So they're going to make you marry. a snake, or you're going to have to marry P. Diddy. So you might find out that P. Diddy he's got wives, and they're both male and female. He's got wives. But when he sleeps with his victims, he's siphoning their virtues. And he gets more powerful. But he shares a little bit of what they think is much. Some money. Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, we are mostly sexual beings as humans, like animals, no different. So this is why in a family, for example, if you got like my family where there's a father, mother, married, and then there's 3 brothers. But for now, we're going to add in just one sister, okay? One sister is what we're going to add. So when a man sleeps with a woman, it's more the man who gets her virtues. So this way, that man steals the virtues from that woman and her family. Do you actually understand? And her family. And this is what is actually going on the spiritual level. So when that woman sleeps with some of those men, she sells her virtues to that family. The more she does, the more she becomes poorer, and the more they just find that they are getting lucky and things are going well for them. Especially if it's like a virgin. That is like a huge trade of wealth and riches to that family. There is a reason why there was dowry. Do you understand the dowry? Because you are paying for the virtues. But nowadays, many women do not deserve to be paid dowry because many of them, the virtues were sold the moment they lost their virginity. So the virtues are sold to that family. And the more they sleep with the virgins, the more they seem to get luckier and everything goes well with them. But for the virgin and their family, they start to suffer misfortune. The father of that house will start to just have bad luck. He will maybe start to notice that he's getting punctures all the time. And only he seems to be unlucky at work. He is a good man, in fact, a good man. He is faithful to his wife. But when a daughter is living under his roof and she's sleeping around, she is selling the virtues, all the luck, all the good charm of that family to the strange family. So they now just, things go well for their family, but not for their family who is sleeping with this family. Okay? And it's the same with the boys also. But the woman affects the lack of the household far more. And if there is 3 sisters, for example, and they're doing this, the man of that house will never amount to anything. He will never move. And worse, if in a marriage, if any one of them cheats, they immediately sell the virtues of their whole family, of all the children. The birthright is sold. Because now the oath is permanently broken, like how it was with Adam and Eve, and then suffering comes to that family because one of the husband or the wife cheated. So now curses come. And if you read about the curses, when you sell your virtues, when you sell your covering, your natural riches that is hid in your sexuality, when you sell that, it means that bad luck comes, poverty comes. You never amount to anything. You just have bad luck. You lose virtues because virtues many times is like a package. So you might have the package in your head, okay, like a hat. It's like a hat. So these guys with the all-seeing eyes can see it. So when they look at you, they might see that, look, this guy, he's got a package of critical thinking, or being an inventor. So when they start to sleep with you, and this is why it's very bad when you have sex down your spiritual level or down your social status. You have to try to be equal, because sex is about equal trade of virtues. And whoever a family sleeps with, they trade virtues with that family. So if that family has got no virtues, if they are always sleeping around, it means that if your family is busy sleeping with these kinds of people, it means that you are empowering them, you are enriching them, and then you are going to suffer far more. Do you understand how it actually works? Do you understand? People don't see the spiritual side of what is actually going on. That this is the actual wealth transfer. Virtues. It's not about money, or just nice cars and all these things. Those things are less than. It's about virtues. Because you wanna get rich, you wanna get successful, you wanna get happy. And even the Bible says that the wealth of God brings no sorrow. But many of these guys have pierced themselves with many sorrows by not understanding this. They have pierced themselves with many sorrows by trying to use this kind of means of getting ahead, of seduction. And the Bible does say that seducers and deceivers shall wax worse and worse and worse. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get virtues with makeup, virtues with nicer clothes, a nicer bling. But they don't want to go to the source, and the source is God through Jesus Christ. Because that is the only way you can restore your virtues. This is why when someone wants to get the next level, you're going to hear that even Kanye West, for example, they have to sacrifice, do a blood sacrifice, because you have to trade something, and it's your virtues to get that kind of success. Do you understand? Or you have to sleep with someone, a producer, if you're a musician, who is in cahoots with that snake from the Garden of Eden. When you do that, and they don't just sleep with you once, it's like an ongoing thing. Because what they're gonna do now is that every time you grow a bit of light, every time your virtues of your brain grows a little bit, a little spark comes, grows, God starts to set up a base in your heart, which are the virtues. God is the virtues. They sleep with you, or they plan to sleep with you, or they make sure that you go to the clubs to make sure to siphon your energy. They get that energy, you remain with nothing. Then they who are the ones who are the lazy ones, who actually deserve bad karmic debt. This way, they steal your good luck and karma and give you their bad luck. So this way, they elongate their lives, while you only wonder if God loves you or hates you. Why are you suffering? It's because you don't understand this. So this is why I am telling you that now the conclusion of this is that your wealth, the kingdom within you, are your virtues. God is your virtues. God is your virtues. The virtues that you have, that is God. That is the spark of life. That is where luck and chance and good luck, good fortunes comes from. If you don't have these virtues, you can never be nothing. You, in fact, are going to have to sell your soul. You're going to have to do blood sacrifices. You're going to have to sacrifice babies. You're going to have to drink, to have to smoke, have to do all these things that are going to make you deeper as a slave, to try to just gain social status. But as we learn from the Garden of Eden that this was not God's desire, I've taught you exactly also that why Adam and Eve fell is because they broke the oath of marriage, and Eve slept with the snake, a snake man. When you have a marriage and this man talks to your wife, he beguiles your wife, he talks to her nicely, while you, the husband, who's got the virtues, okay, because a husband who's got virtues, he looks like maybe like me, like a nice guy. But many women who see me as boring. I've got these virtues, but now I'm too peaceful. There's no drama. And I'm not arguing much. So there's no tension before sex. There's no tension before sex, which a woman wants. It's not there. But this snake man is living in survival mode. He's living more like a proper animal. Okay, a proper baboon-like creature. And this woman, okay, this one doesn't matter if a woman is a billionaire. It doesn't matter if she's a billionaire. But if such a man comes along with the snake power, you could say, she is going to sleep with a homeless guy. Okay, you will be like, how did this billionaire get impregnated by this homeless bum who has got nothing going on but just chilling in the streets as a gangster? Why? It's because many times women fail to actually recognize God in a man. And in fact, they look down on the meek man. But they think that the arrogant man is actually the one who's confident. Is the one who is the more man. And then what ends up happening is that, like in a marriage, I'm speaking from experience. So when you have a wife, and then you, as me, a husband, you are virtuous, you don't cheat on a woman, you're always faithful. But then, like Eve, this wife is beguiled by her ex. She sleeps with his ex. What ends up happening is that me, the husband, for the fact that I've got a ring, so it's one flesh. It means that when that man is sleep, that snake is sleeping with my wife, and I might be in Afghanistan or whatever, it means that that man is sleeping with me. So the more he does this, the more I become less a man, and he becomes more the man, because spiritually there is a transaction that is going on that can be seen. It's the virtues are being siphoned from the man, because God's glory is usually on the man, not the woman. So they're being siphoned into this man. Then this foolish woman, this damn bimbo who doesn't get anything, a foolish woman who knows nothing, just watching scandalous shows, she knows nothing. So she doesn't understand consequences. So she'll hide that she's cheating on her husband, but then she'll start to belittle the man. You are gay. You're not a man. You are not a man. Because what's happening is that the virtues of the marriage are now completely gone. So the man, if he's not aware like Adam wasn't, he will let this woman just berate him and berate him and berate him. Meanwhile, she's the one who has actually sold the man's virtue secretly through cheating on him, infidelity. And then the longer this man stays with this woman, by the time he realizes it, he used to be, and now he's not no more like Samson. Oh, the glory of God is gone. This is why when a woman cheats on you, it's not a light thing at all. You have to leave and never sleep with her again. You have to cut the soul tie. You have to cut the soul tie. Because the oath of marriage is mostly through sex. So once you have sex, you are like one. But once that person has sex somewhere else, the virtues go. There's no more virtues. So it happens when you're single or in a boyfriend relationship, but more in a marriage where it's actually the effects are more pronounced. So this is what happens. The man, many times, some men become gay this way. Do you understand? This is how they get emasculated. When the wife is busy cheating on this man and he doesn't know, and he's also sleeping with this woman, because now, since 2 is 1, he's actually having gay sex spiritually. And many times, he'll start to dream of himself having sex with a man. But he's straight. But he'll be like, how is this possible? He'll break up with this woman and still having dreams of having sex with this woman. Why? I'm going to explain later on. But now to finish off is that she'll think that he's less of a man. She'll leave the man. And then if the man now realizes that he's fallen like Samson, that his wife was Delilah, he prays to God. He is going to get his virtues back from God, because that's where they're coming from. And when that happens, it means that the destruction of that cheating wife and the man who cheated with his wife, who he was legally married to, once God comes in, it means that both of us are destroyed. Both of them will have low self-esteem evermore. Both of them will just be like dogs with fleas on the pubes, because God brings in curses. There are principles that govern results. So principles are age-old. Values change all the time. Principles are blessings and curses. And God has laid the world in a way that if you do this, this is going to happen. If you do this, you're going to be punished. If you do this, you're going to be rewarded. You reap what you sow. And this is that lesson today. So take care. Bye.